Hello and welcome to the absolute perfect day here in the hills above Los Angeles. I have a brand new 2021 Mercedes E53 AMG. We're gonna see how this car drives up in the hills above Los Angeles. So I'm in town for another event and I grabbed this car just for a day to make a quick video for you guys, and this is sort of a precursor to what's to come. Over the next week after this video goes live, we will be driving the E53 AMG Coupe. So I said, hey Mercedes, is there any way I can try out the convertible so we can talk about the differences? So we'll talk about the differences later. In this video we are going to be talking about the convertible. One, we're going to be testing the performance up here on some of the best driving roads. We're going to be talking about what it's like with the top down, the styling, and honestly, mostly just the performance, because you guys know it's got an AMG badge on it, but this is a 53, not a 63. So how does the new inline six 430 horsepower thereabouts, is it truly worthy of the AMG badge, or is this more of a marketing exercise? It's painted in this really cool satin blue finish that's a factory color. It's not a wrap. It's on the 5-spoke AMG design wheels. Looks beautiful. This one has the full carbon backpack. I don't know, I would skip that on all my stuff, but you can see just carbon everywhere throughout the car. Inside, gorgeous interior, equipped with Starbucks Trenta strawberry acai. You guys know me. It's got the AMG Dynamica microfiber steering wheel, which I'm not a fan of. I do like a full leather steering wheel, but some people like that stuff. The air vents, the attention to detail, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to go for a drive and take you guys with me. Now, we've been testing quite a few Mercedes recently, and most recently we had the Mercedes E450 sedan. The reason I bring this car up is that had the 3-liter inline 6 turbocharged engine, and this has the 3-liter inline 6 turbocharged engine. So is it just that engine with a tune, or is there some other stuff going on? Well, first off, it has an EQ boost, just like the 450 sedan that we tested. This is a pancake electric motor, just about 29 horsepower, 130 plus pound-feet of torque, sandwiched between the transmission and the engine. Really nice to have that extra boost for short bursts when the turbos are spooling up. This one also has, unlike the E450, a electric turbocharger. It's really not called a turbocharger because it's not exhaust driven, but this uses 2 forms of mild hybrid boost. It's actually the first mild hybrid I've driven that uses both an electric turbocharger, it's a small little compressor to boost up the main exhaust gas turbocharger, as well as the pancake motor. I've only ever driven cars with one or the other. So I'm very excited to see how this, ripping it in the Accord. I'm very excited to see how this engine performs. The noise is significantly different. Take a listen. So the E450 that we recently tested had a same basic engine, right? But it didn't have this button. This is an optional AMG performance exhaust. And when you put it up into Sport Plus mode and turn the radio off, take a listen to the noise here. Let's go, Sport Plus, there we go. Is it very AMG that it only lets you rev to 4,000? 3,900, 3,800? The crackles though. I think that sounds pretty good. I'm excited to see what it sounds like on this side of 4, because this is where things get a little spicy. So let's put the roof up, mount the cameras, and take it for a rip on some of the best driving roads around the hills of Los Angeles. And now it's time to take the E53 convertible for a drive. Let me hit the button that rolls all the windows up at the same time. Love that one. Now I've been driving this car for the last few hundred miles with the top down. We're just gonna pull up in front of this person. Oh, it sounds pretty interesting. So right now I'm in comfort mode, which is the everyday slush box mode. We are going to play around with all of the drivetrain stuff when we have the E53 Coupe. So Sport Plus, manual selection, ESP off, goes to sport mode. Now it's full off. That's just the way I like it. And pull the downshift paddle a few times. You're going to hear some stuff flying around, but that's okay. Instantly a totally different noise experience, an auditory experience with the roof up compared to the roof down. I'm hearing fake noises piped in. It doesn't sound as pure. With the roof down, you really hear the exhaust of this inline 6, which is a fantastic engine noise. Totally different character from the 450 that we just tested in that sedan I was talking about. Really awesome. If anything, I'm surprised it's the same engine, a totally different experience auditorially. And does this thing just sound fruity up top? Really fruity noise for sure. And very impressive. Nice GT500 right there. Up here in Angeles Forest right now. So, the noise, totally different. Is it as sweet as an inline 6 should be? Well, it's a very different character than like a BMW inline 6, for example. This engine loves to rev and makes peak horsepower up at 6,100, which is crazy. This one has the 9-speed auto, similar to the E450, but again, totally different programming. Might be an entirely different unit. It's the TCT transmission. So all of my issues with the transmission in the E450 have completely gone away here. When you have this car dialed up into Sport Plus and you select the manual setting, it'll hold at the rev limiter, which is awesome. Wouldn't do that before. Having a little photo shoot here, I guess. Wouldn't do that before. And now it like really farts the shifts, and by that I mean that you get this nice little crack out the exhaust. Listen, just like a little on the shift. I actually like that noise. I think it's pretty neat. So the responsiveness of the transmission is more noticeable than the increase in power from the engine. Now, I don't actually have the weight on this vehicle. I tried looking for it on the media site, couldn't find anything about the weight, and I suspect that's because it's astronomical. At least it drives like it's heavy. You know, a lot of modern cars will hide their weight these days. This is not one of them. Especially in convertible form, you can feel how heavy this thing is getting it around. It also doesn't have a ton of straight line performance. I mean, 429 horsepower you would think would feel a little bit more spicy than this. Oh, beautiful day for a Targa 992, isn't it? But okay, so the AMGs to me have always been straight line hammers, and this car is more focused on noise, auditory experience, great shifting, a sweeter character than the V8 versions, and not as brutish. Not, you know, you put your foot down and you can floor it pretty much anywhere. You don't even think about it. It's not to say it's slow, but it just, don't go into it thinking it's a 63. And I think I definitely haven't. Now, I've only driven this car a little bit, but it just sounds so good. I mean, this is almost a really, if not a totally different character to an AMG that we just haven't experienced before, because the braking performance, the suspension calibration, it all feels very AMG. The touch points, the driving, aside from the drivetrain, feel AMG. I mean, it's more than the BMW's M40i, for example. This feels a lot more turned up. I have the dampers in full stiff here. Normally on this road, I like to run with a comfort damper, but this car is uber comfortable. It's air suspension as well as active damping. And so with it set in full stiff, it's not too stiff, which is one of the few cars that isn't overly stiff. Yeah, thank you to the Audi. Appreciate that. Nice hazards. Oh, it's just a sweet character. You can just let it sing and let it sing. And that's a new thing for an AMG, and honestly, it's a kind of intoxicating driving this car quickly, because you just want to rev it and rev it and rev it. So, the noise is so good. I love an inline 6. It's a totally, like I keep saying, totally new character here. Brake pedal performance was really good, and now they're hot. This is a heavy car. Again, I don't know the weight, but it's asking a lot. 14.7 inch rotors up front, 14.2 in the rear. So you have a really nicely balanced braking system. 1.2 inches of width on the rotor up front, 1 inch in the rear. The brakes are under braked. There's no way around it. When you drive this car hard on a road like this, you get a really good couple hard stops, and then they go. You lose the bite, and yeah, definitely needs ceramics or something to handle this kind of weight. But again, this is the convertible version, and I'm looking forward to seeing if the coupe solves a lot of these problems with a little less, probably a few £100 difference between the two, honestly. Also, the chassis on this car is unbelievably stiff for being a convertible. Oh, they're getting it in the Matrix, aren't they? Yeah, really stiff. So that means you throw it into a corner and you're able to work the suspension rather than working the chassis flex. And honestly, it's almost non-perceptible. You kind of get this little really nice chatter when you're really on the car inside of a bump. When you hit the bumps, it's almost you know, something that you used to only be able to experience in race cars. Oh, pulling over in the Matrix. Thank you so much. Hazards. Man, the noise is good, and the acceleration's usable. You really get to use a lot of the throttle a lot of the time here. Love it. Sounds good. Good engine performance throughout. We'll go slow through here. Headlights on, of course. So, instant impressions. This isn't a Hammer. This is a sweet sounding, smooth engine, great consistent power band, really nice torque curve, but it doesn't die off up top. If anything, it wants you to rev and rev and rev, and that's a very different character from the E450 that we tested. The electric motor boost, the EQ boost I can see here, but is awesome. No complaints, really. The same good things I had to say about it in the 450 Retain. However, the electric turbocharger on this one is amazing, totally game-changing in the response department. You put your foot down and boom, it just, you instantly get boost less than a half a second later, especially at such a low RPM. That is impressive technology. Let's do that foot down, and we got power instantly, literally almost imperceptible at high RPMs. This is where I want some more brakes. Suspension calibration is fantastic. Really lets the tire work as much as it can. This one's on Pilot Sport 4S's. And it's a good tire. Great engine. At first I thought, well, is this car really deserving of the AMG badge? And the answer is, it sort of is. It's, you know, the 53 is a new kind of breed of AMG. It's more of this sweeter, more tactile engine. I prefer this engine to the V8s, honestly. I really love revving it out. It sounds so good up at 6,000 RPM, even with the top up, but with the top down, incredibly much better. I have the optional AMG Performance exhaust on. Just wish this one had optional ceramic brakes or something better. You really got to watch your deceleration on the downhills. The brakes just get hot. So I'm repeating myself. I'm enjoying this nice cruise in the E53 convertible here. Is this a car that you can definitely drive around the city very comfortably? You know, we're not demonstrating this now, but yeah, absolutely. You can. I drove this around Hollywood a little bit for a little event I was going to, and comfortable. You put it in comfort mode. It's quiet, top down, really nice. You have the air scarf, blows hot air down your back. All of the things that we know and love from Mercedes are here, just spiced up a little bit with this engine. I would say really nice character. Really nice character here. It's a very pleasant car to drive quickly, which the V8s are not. Those are very brutish. This is very sweet, and I love the noise. So I think you get the idea. We're going to spend more time evaluating this when we get the coupe, but I'm glad to have the back and back with the convertible. Let's just continue driving. Just join me as we cruise along some of the best roads here around Los Angeles. May as well, right? Keep in mind, this isn't a racetrack, so we're not going to be going super fast. Just going for a nice afternoon cruise. There's the E-Class sedan. The off-throttle charging of the EQ system's really smooth. The engine calibration when you get onto the throttle is awesome. It's something the Germans do so well, is all this finalizing calibration of suspension, steering, acceleration, and braking. Steering's light, very uncommunicative. Nice Golf. Have adjustable side supports, so I have them on like a halfway setting. They can squeeze you a little bit more, which is nice. You can really feel that front tire work. It's very much a front heavy car. That's a little bit odd. It's almost like the back tires are just around for the ride. Any bit of throttle with this 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system just neutralizes out the balance. It doesn't give any kind of oversteer. I have all of the AMG stuff, and everything's as sporty as it can go. From the I'm in Pro for the chassis and all-wheel drive, suspension on full firm, ESP off, manual shifting, Sport Plus, exhaust on. Yeah, so no kind of drifty stuff going on here. This 4MATIC Plus also does support the drift mode function, I believe. Except I don't know for sure in the convertible trim. I know in the other trims of E-Class it does, wagon, sedan, but correct me if I'm wrong if the convertible doesn't do it. Doesn't matter, you wouldn't want it on a road like this. All-wheel drive system makes this car insanely approachable on the limit. I love the shifting noise when you bang the rev limiter real quick. It's just a soft limiter. But when you grab the next gear, you get this nice little pause. It almost feels like a manual transmission chip. Nice S2000 as well. One of the best parts for me coming here to Los Angeles, spending time up here in the hills, is seeing everyone else's car. I love the car culture. I love to see everyone's vehicles for sure. Man, the downshifts are unbelievably impressive. For a torque converter automatic, blips the shifts really well. 9 gears in this particular one. Totally different ratio than the sedan that we had though. Totally optimized for AMG. Gorgeous views. Man, I've just been driving around here all day. It's been awesome. Ran into Hannah and Magnus Walker up at the top of Newcomb's, which was awesome. And Hannah Elliott, they don't have the same last name. They had the new 992 GT3, which was awesome to see. First time I've seen one without the camo. Looked really good. A little bit of broken pavement. Let's see how it does. Wow, good tire control on that pavement. Yeah, I can already feel the brakes getting a little spongy, and it's not like we're even driving it that hard. We're just cruising. Let's try some mid-range power out of this corner, shall we? So 4,000 RPM, wide open. Not great. This thing really loves to rev. Upshifts off throttle are a little slow, but what can you do about that? Man, the downshifts are DCT-like on the downshift. That's impressive. Just whoop. Super smooth. This engine just loves to rev, doesn't it? Right into the rev limiter. Beautiful day for a bike up here, that's for sure. Not much traffic. It's about 70 degrees, not too hot. Just leaning on that front tire. Seriously capable vehicle from a chassis standpoint, considering the weight. And you just got to work this motor. But it likes to work, that's the thing. It doesn't need to be crazy fast character.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Alright, Siri, cancel. No service up here. Yeah, the immediacy of the boost at high RPM is electric-like. Let's see, I want to see temperatures. 243 on the oil. A little toasty. But it's an AMG, it should be able to take it, right? Why is all the voice control going? Just want to cancel. Power lines looking neat up here. That's a great road, Big Tahunga. Yeah, it doesn't have long legs. It is nice, you can just hold the left paddle and it will downshift when it's available. available. I'm a clicker. I always click the left paddle until the gear is available for a downshift. It's just kind of how I drive. There we go. Good downshift there under wide open throttle. Excellent chassis control. So the things that I would like to see here personally, look, you can't do anything about the weight. It's a heavy car, big convertible. That I can get over. Engine power is the least impressive part about this car. That's not to say it's a bad thing. It's just to say it doesn't really rip that hard. Personally, I think I would still choose a 53 over a 63, depending on the application, of course, because I love this inline six so much, though. So it's okay to love other things about this engine or this power plant other than raw numbers on paper in terms of power. Just the sweetness, the way it revs, the immediacy with this EQ boost is something special, that's for sure. And the transmission combo with this engine, far superior than the 450, far superior. The way that this thing shifts in Sport Plus is immediate and great. And I honestly just drive in Sport Plus everywhere. I tried Comfort, I tried Sport. There's even a slippery mode. It hasn't rained. And it feels a little slushy down there. In Sport Plus, though, it changes the entire character of the transmission. It's truly amazing. I've never driven a Mercedes with a transmission better than its BMW counterpart. And here, this is far superior to the M40i's transmission, the ZF 8-speed, which is a great transmission, don't get me wrong. This is just so much more immediate. Man, can't get over that. It's so good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this nice little blast up in the hills with me here in Los Angeles. Just a quick video, of course, but honestly, I think it's so neat to be able to spend time with the convertible and then get right into the coupe in a couple days and really to feel the difference. Personally, I'm not a coupe guy. I'd go for the wagon or the sedan. And I think, like, if you're getting the coupe, just get the convertible. That's my impression right now. I don't think you're losing anything here with the 53 convertible. It's a weird car, though, because you get so many things from, like, a full AMG. This wheel that makes it feel really sporty, these buttons here, these, you know, twisting dials. You can change what each thing does. But it is missing a little something. I think a flair of specialness. And you know what it might be is that when you drive an AMG or a really high performance car hard, you get the sense that things are working. You're stressing the components. You're really, really working the car. And here, it's so unbelievably capable that it's not hard for it to be driven hard. And so therefore, I think it's so capable, it's not as fun as it could be. But man, you can't deny how good of a value this one is. Have we even talked about pricing yet? Man, I'm doing such a terrible job. Base price, 84 grand, 82,850 base. This one's 105. And yeah, it has all the track stuff, performance exhaust, the $4,000 matte paint, which is neat, but I would not expect that for me. I just would be worried about taking care of it. But it looks amazing. This thing turns heads everywhere in this matte blue paint. Neat car, really neat car, but excited to spend some time with the coupe. Thanks for joining on this fun little blast up here in the hills. See you on the next one.